I'm Mehta, Editor-in-Chief of Breaking Defense. I'm here with Michael Marrow. He's our Air Warfare Correspondent. We're going to break down the upcoming Air and Space Force Association Conference in scenic National Harbor, Maryland. Michael, this is the biggest gathering of the Air Force and Space Force each year. We're going to hear from leadership, we're going to hear from industry. One of the big programs that everyone's probably tracking is the NGAD, the Next Generation Fighter for the Air Force. Where are we on that program, and what do you think we might actually hear about in the coming days?
Right, so we did hear recently that Northrop Grumman is not competing for the NGAD fighter. So it's assumed to be a dogfight between Boeing and Lockheed Martin now. We can definitely expect to hear some updates on the status of the program, which is planned for a contract award next year. In addition to that, Pratt & Whitney and GE Aerospace are also competing to build that fighter's engine. That's called the NGAP program, Next Generation Adaptive Propulsion. We heard at a separate industry conference in Dayton recently that the Air Force wants prototypes from both Pratt and GE for that engine.
Another part of NGAD that we expect to hear about is the drone component, the Loyal Wingman, as it gets called, the CCA program. What's going on with that?
Right, so CCA stands for Collaborative Combat Aircraft. It's the drones the Air Force wants to field that can fly and fight alongside of next-gen fighters, current generation fighters like the F-35, to provide what the Air Force calls affordable mass. These drones are meant to fill a range of functions from missile trucks to extra sensors, and are, as the name implies, a little bit more affordable than building a full-on fighter jet. Air Force officials have teased that they're going to share some announcements about the CCA program at this conference, likely around how those CCAs are going to be interoperable with the Navy and Marine Corps.
All right, so speaking of things that need to be interoperable, the Space Force is obviously a big part of this conference. Teresa Hitchens, our space reporter, will certainly be running around the show, but can you give us a hint of what we might hear out of the Space Force as well?
Right, we will likely hear continued plans from the Space Force to continue building out the Defense Department's proliferated warfighting space architecture. It's quite a mouthful, but what it means is that the Pentagon is moving away from the big juicy targets that they've been called in the past, large satellites, to very small distributed satellites in low Earth orbit predominantly, just like SpaceX does, very small, proliferated, as they are called, constellations. So SDA, the Space Development Agency, just launched its second round of so-called Tranche 0 satellites very recently. And those satellites will be essential for proving out the concept.
And of course, that's kind of what we're expecting to hear. The reality is that you go to these shows and someone in leadership or industry brings something new to the table that we weren't expecting. That then kind of takes over the show and drives a lot of the talk.
Right.
Obviously, the best way for you to keep up on that is to be checking breakingdefense.com regularly. We're going to have a whole team at the show. We'll also be doing wrap-up videos every day, so you can get kind of a quick dose of what the big news was that day. Again, please check the site, breakingdefense.com. And if you see us at the show, please say hello. Thanks for watching.